Top 10 best Rolex alternatives to buy now. In the world of luxury watches, three words reign supreme: Swiss, steel, and Rolex. But what if we told you the Rolex you dream of is no longer the only ticket to horological heaven? Because right now, in a corner of the market where the hype hasn't fully arrived, but the quality already has, there's a new league of timepieces quietly catching fire. They're not copies, they're contenders. Built with the same obsession, the same craft, and sometimes the same heritage. Collectors call them the silent climbers. Watches that haven't yet exploded in price, but will, soon. So if you're tired of waiting on Rolex waitlists, if you're looking to invest smart before the next wave of watch madness hits, then buckle up. We're diving into the 10 best Rolex alternatives to buy right now, before they're out of reach. Because in this game, timing isn't everything. It's the only thing. Don't forget to press and hold that like button, leave a comment, and hit subscribe before we begin. Ranked 10th, Longines Spirit Zulu Time. Before GPS, before smartwatches, and before cockpit automation, there was only instinct and a reliable GMT watch. For generations, Longines was that watch. And with the Spirit Zulu Time, that legacy returns. Not as nostalgia, but as a modern alternative for those who still value mechanical confidence at 35,000 feet. At a glance, it's unmistakably functional. The 42mm stainless steel case, the bi-directional ceramic bezel, and a sharply contrasting GMT hand. This isn't just design, it's a toolkit. Pilots, frequent flyers, and ground control alike have come to trust what this watch offers. A Kyo SC certified L, 844.4 movement, a buttery 72-hour power reserve, and the kind of legibility that matters when time zones blur and seconds count. But this isn't just for aviators. On the wrist, the Spirit Zulu Time balances modern confidence with vintage restraint. The Arabic numerals glow clean under low light, and the sunburst dial offers a visual depth that feels far beyond its $3,500 price tag. It doesn't try to rival Rolex's GMT Master 2. It doesn't need to. There are no waitlists here, no inflated premiums, just a trusted companion ready for takeoff. For those who prefer execution over hype and history that speaks through performance, the Longines Spirit Zulu Time is the true pilot's secret, and now maybe yours. Ranked 9th, Seiko Prospex SLA043. There's a kind of silence beneath 200 meters that few people will ever know. Not the absence of sound, but the presence of pressure. And in that stillness, there's no room for uncertainty. That's where the Seiko SLA043 earns its name, the Deep Blue Samurai. Born as a modern tribute to the 1970 Seiko 6105 diver, worn by soldiers in Vietnam and immortalized on Captain Willard's wrist in Apocalypse Now, the SLA043 doesn't chase trends. It sharpens a legacy. The blue sunburst dial shifts like ocean currents under changing light. Its case, polished with Seiko's famed Zaratsu technique, combines artistry with armor. At 44.3 millimeters, it sounds oversized, but the curved lugs and low center of gravity make it surprisingly agile, like the warrior it's nicknamed after. Inside beats the 8L35 movement, crafted by Seiko's elite watchmakers at the Shizukuishi studio, the same hands behind their Grand Seiko line. This isn't entry-level, it's deep-end horology. The ceramic bezel clicks with surgical precision. The hands glow like lanterns underwater, thanks to Seiko's LumiBrite technology. And with a 200-meter water resistance, screw-down crown, and monoblock case construction, this is not just inspired by divers, it's ready for dive missions. Retailing around $3,800, it offers something Rolex's Submariner no longer can: accessibility, authenticity, and character. No waiting lists, no six-figure auction bids. Just a watch built to survive the ocean and the decades ahead. When you strap on the SLA043, you're not wearing a replica of adventure. You're wearing the real thing. Ranked 8th, Tudor Black Bay 58. There's a quiet confidence in things that don't try too hard. That's exactly where the Tudor Black Bay 58 lives. In that sweet spot where nostalgia meets rebellion. It's not loud. It doesn't beg for attention. But put it on your wrist and it speaks volumes. The story of the Black Bay 58 begins, fittingly, in 1958, when Tudor released its first 200-meter water-resistant diver, the 7924 Big Crown. It was built for purpose, not prestige. And today, the 58 doesn't just honor that past, it revives it with modern muscle hidden beneath its vintage soul. At 39 millimeters, the case wears like a dream, especially for those who appreciate proportions grounded in the golden age of dive watches. The slim profile, the domed sapphire crystal, and that rich, gilt-accented dial, it all whispers vintage, without being a cliché. Inside, however, beats the MT5402, Tudor's in-house automatic movement. It's Kowaski certified, anti-magnetic, and boasts a robust 70-hour power reserve. You could take it off on Friday night, let it rest all weekend, and it'll still be ticking Monday morning. It's a tool watch, yes, but also a time capsule, a piece that's equally at home under the cuff of a cashmere sweater as it is strapped over a wetsuit. No flash, no gimmicks, just $4,000 worth of purpose backed by the Rolex-owned precision that Tudor never has to explain. Collectors call it the Heritage Rebel, because while it honors the past, it refuses to be boxed in by it. It's the diver for the purist who wants modern mechanics, the minimalist who demands heritage, the dreamer who never quite wanted to wait 5 years for a submariner. This isn't the watch you wear to impress, it's the one you wear when you know who you are. Ranked 7th, Omega Seamaster Aqua Terra. Not every man who wears a dive watch dives, and not every watch that dives needs to look like it belongs in a submarine. That's where the Omega Seamaster Aqua Terra stands apart, gracefully straddling two worlds, sea and city, sport and sophistication. From the moment you slip it on, the Aqua Terra doesn't scream for attention. It earns it with silence. The dial, inspired by yacht decks, features horizontal teak stripes that shimmer like sunlight rippling across calm waters. In the blue variant, especially, it's hypnotic, refined, almost meditative. But don't let the elegance fool you. This is a diver at heart. With 150 meters of water resistance, screw-down crown, and anti-magnetic resistance up to 15,000 Gauss, the Aqua Terra isn't just about style, it's a fortress in disguise. It won't buckle under pressure, even if you take it from boardroom to beach in one afternoon. At its core beats the Omega Coaxial Master Chronometer Caliber 8900, a movement Metas certified for precision, magnetic resistance, and performance. It boasts a 60-hour power reserve, twin barrels for steady torque, and a level of finishing you'll find through the exhibition case back that makes you pause. But the real magic of the Aqua Terra lies in its duality. One moment, it's peeking from under a tuxedo sleeve at a gala. The next, it's wet from ocean spray on a sailing trip. Few watches manage to blend dress and dive aesthetics so seamlessly. That's why collectors call it the gentleman diver. It's not about extremes, it's about balance. Not about shouting wealth, but wearing it with grace. And with a price point hovering around $6,000 to $6,500, it's luxury that doesn't feel like overreach. Because in a world obsessed with categories, the Aqua Terra proves one truth. You don't have to choose between form and function when you can have both. Ranked 6th, Sin 104 St. Sa, the German tank. In a small, no-nonsense factory nestled in Frankfurt am Main, a team of horological engineers isn't chasing glamour. They're chasing resilience. And from their unyielding pursuit of purpose comes a timepiece so under the radar, so brutally capable, that insiders simply call it the German tank. Meet the Sin 104. St. Sai, a pilot-style tool watch born not for boardrooms, but for the cockpit, the wilderness, and the storm. A clean 41mm stainless steel case, a classic dial layout with luminous sword hands, a bidirectional countdown bezel with minute markers. It's handsome, but not flamboyant. And that's the point. This isn't built for hype. It's built to survive. The heart of that machine is the Sellita SW221 automatic movement, reliable, easily serviceable, and shielded by Sin's proprietary anti-magnetic protection. and AR dehumidifying technology, ensuring performance in extremes where moisture would doom lesser watches. With 200 meters of water resistance, sapphire crystals front and back, and a fully loomed dial that glows like a searchlight in the dark, the SIN 104 isn't just a pilot watch, it's a field companion, a diver's fallback, and a soldier's secret. And here's the real kicker. It comes in around $1,500 to $2,000. That's less than the bracelet on some Rolex models. For this level of precision, durability, and German-engineered clarity, it's a deal that makes enthusiasts raise an eyebrow and ask, how is this not on more risks? So if you're the kind of person who chooses action over attention, who believes capability is cooler than clout, the SIN 104 Saint Seiya might just be your perfect watch. Because in a world full of pretty faces, this one wears scars, and it's proud of them. Ranked 5th, Grand Seiko SBGA211 Snowflake. At first glance, it's just a white dial, but take a closer look and you'll see a landscape. The Grand Seiko SBGA211, known among collectors as the Snowflake, draws direct inspiration from the snowy fields surrounding the Shinshu watch studio in Japan. That dial, with its subtle texture and soft shimmer, doesn't just tell time. It reflects the stillness of winter, the kind that quiets everything except your thoughts. Crafted in high-intensity titanium, the case is both lightweight and strong, giving it a different presence than traditional steel watches. It's larger than it feels, 41 millimeters in diameter, yet so comfortable you almost forget you're wearing it. Inside beats the spring-drive 9R65 movement, a fusion of mechanical engineering and quartz-level precision. It delivers a smooth sweeping second hand, no ticks, just a glide, accurate to within plus or minus 1 second per day. That's not marketing hype. That's engineering discipline. The Snowflake isn't flashy. It doesn't beg for attention. But once you wear it, it changes your sense of what a luxury watch can be. This isn't about status. It's about quiet mastery. At around $6,300, the SBGA 211 offers a level of finishing, accuracy, and originality that rivals watches twice its price. For many, it becomes not just an alternative to Rolex, but a replacement. That's why collectors call it the Zen Grail. It doesn't follow trends, it follows purpose. Ranked 4th, Breitling Chronomat B0142. On the tarmac, under the roar of jet engines, precision isn't optional, it's survival. And that's exactly what the Breitling Chronomat B0142 was built for. Originally designed for Italian fighter pilots, this watch wasn't born in a boardroom. It was engineered in the sky. Today it returns sharper than ever. Its 42mm stainless steel case cuts a bold silhouette, but it's the unique rouleau bracelet, sleek, brushed, and unlike anything else, that makes it unmistakably Chronomat. Turn the bezel, feel the resistance, press the chronograph pushers. Every click whispers one thing: I'm not just here to look good, I'm here to function. At its heart beats the Breitling B01 caliber, a COSC-certified in-house chronograph movement that boasts 70 hours of power, column wheel architecture, and vertical clutch precision. Whether you're tracking fuel burn at 30,000 feet or measuring minutes on the ground, this machine responds like a jet on standby. That's why enthusiasts call it the aviation architect. It isn't just bold, it's beautifully calculated. And at around $9,000, it's not trying to imitate the Rolex Daytona. It's challenging it. If you want a watch that speaks engineering fluency, that feels like velocity wrapped in steel, this is your co-pilot. Ranked 3rd, IWC Portugieser Automatic. There's a moment at every formal gathering when words quiet down and presence takes over. Not loud, not brash, just undeniable. That's the kind of energy the IWC Portugieser Automatic brings to the wrist. They don't call it the dress titan for nothing. Originally born from the demands of two Portuguese businessmen in the 1930s who wanted the accuracy of a marine chronometer in a wristwatch, the Portugieser didn't follow trends. It created its own category. Large for its time, open dial, slim bezel, and even now, nearly a century later, the design still feels bold without ever trying to be. Its 42.3mm stainless steel case may sound large on paper, but it wears like confidence, not bulk. The arched edge sapphire glass gives it a fluid profile, allowing light to dance across the dial without overwhelming the wrist. A masterclass in restrained sophistication, the leaf-shaped hands, the railroad minute track, and the applied numerals all pay homage to its nautical roots, while the 7-day power reserve indicator at 3 o'clock and the small seconds at 9 o'clock bring symmetry that feels satisfying, not forced. But the true magic lies beneath the surface. The in-house Caliber 52010 powers the show, a self-winding movement fitted with IWC's Peloton winding system and 2 barrels that store enough energy to keep the watch running for an entire week. At around $12,000, it's not just an alternative to Rolex, it's a refined declaration. Where a submariner might whisper, adventure, the Portugieser speaks of taste, legacy, and purpose. This isn't for someone chasing attention. It's for someone who already has it and doesn't need to prove it. Ranked second, Cartier Santos de Cartier. The story begins not with a factory, but with a friendship. In 1904, Brazilian aviator Alberto Santos Dumont faced a simple problem. He couldn't read his pocket watch while flying. His friend Louis Cartier didn't just offer a solution, he started a revolution. Thus, the world's first purpose-built pilot wristwatch was born, the Cartier Santos. Over a century later, the Santos de Cartier still carries the spirit of that airborne rebellion. But now it's evolved into something more. Not just a pilot's tool, but a gentleman's weapon. The gentleman's blade. Look closely at the case. Square, sharp, unapologetic. The exposed screws are not flaws to be hidden, but badges of identity. Like rivets on an aircraft fuselage, they speak of strength, purpose, and design integrity. At 39.8 millimeters, the medium model strikes a perfect balance. Neither shouting for attention, nor fading into silence. Then there's the dial. White, sunray brushed, Roman numerals proudly displayed like the columns of a Parisian cathedral. Blued steel hands, sword-shaped, glide with elegance. It's not flashy, it's focused. Every element cuts with intent. Inside, the automatic caliber 1847 MC ticks with Cartier's characteristic poise. Reliable, refined, and sheltered within a case that's water-resistant to 100 meters. And the bracelet? It's genius in disguise. With Cartier's quick-switch system, you can swap it for a leather strap in seconds. Formal dinner at 7, yacht cruise at 8. The Santos doesn't ask if you're ready. It transforms to meet you there. At around $7,000, it may not be the rarest, but it might just be the most iconic timepiece you never considered. Because while others chase attention, the Santos commands presence. And that's why it ranks so high, not as a Rolex replacement, but as an entirely different statement. In first place, Zenith Chronomaster Sport. Some brands trace history. Zenith sets the pace of it. In 1969, while the world was busy landing on the moon, Zenith launched the El Primero, the first fully integrated automatic chronograph movement. Fast forward to today, and the Chronomaster Sport wears that legacy like a badge of honor and a challenge. Encased in sleek stainless steel with a bold ceramic bezel, this 41mm timepiece isn't just a nod to racing chronographs of old, it's a full-throttle revival. The tricolor subdials, they aren't just design flourishes. They're a salute to Zenith's rich past, blended with a modern edge. But beneath the surface is where the Chronomaster Sport truly flexes. The El Primero 3,600 beats at 36,000 vibrations per hour, timing events down to 1/10 of a second. While other chronographs tick, this one races. The chronograph hand makes a full sweep of the dial in just 10 seconds, delivering visual drama and mechanical mastery in equal measure. Flip it over, and you'll see the movement on full display through the sapphire caseback. The finishing is elegant, but purposeful, just like the brand itself. And with a 60-hour power reserve, it works as hard as it looks. At around $10,000, the Zenith Chronomaster Sport sits in the same league as Rolex. But it plays by its own rules, leaner, faster, bolder. So if you're after a chronograph that respects tradition, but refuses to be trapped by it, this is your moment. Because while others reminisce about the golden age of watchmaking, Zenith is too busy making the next one. There you have it. 10 remarkable watches, 10 Rolex alternatives that transcend hype, anatomy, and blind loyalty, with stories, substance, and timeless value. They're not placeholders for Rolex. They're purpose-built, crafted for individuality, tactility, and collecting joy. Whether you're a pilot, diver, executive, philosopher, or adventurer, there's a contender waiting. So dig deeper, explore forums, try them on, connect with their stories. Because in lockers of late adopters, the Rolex may dominate. But in the hands of collectors who choose early, the greatest joys lie off the beaten path. If you enjoyed this journey, comment your favorite, and subscribe for more explorations of watchmaking's unsung masterpieces.